Good morning, my dear students. Today we are going to start our next lesson, that is Sehnai of Bismillah Khan. From the lesson, The Sound of Music. Now let us know about the explanation of this lesson. Think of the Sehnai, and the first thing you will probably imagine is a wedding or a similar occasion or function. The next would probably be Ustad Bismillah Khan, the Sehnai maestro, playing this instrument. So what happened, what is told here, that whenever the word Sehnai comes to your mind for the first time, when you think about Sehnai, the first thing you probably imagine is about a wedding or the same occasion or same function, because the Sehnai is played in South Indian weddings. The next would probably be Ustad Bismillah Khan, the Sehnai maestro playing this instrument. Whenever the word Sehnai comes to your mind, then probably we imagine about a wedding or the same function. Next, about the connection will come the great maestro Ustad Bismillah Khan, because Ustad Bismillah Khan is connected with the Sehnai. He's the maestro, he's the founder. That's why whenever you think about a Sehnai, the first thing comes to your mind or you imagine about a wedding, number one. Number two, and probably be Ustad Bismillah Khan. And in next, you will think about Ustad Bismillah Khan. So here you have found 2 points here. Next, we'll start the paragraph. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of musical instrument called pungi residents, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemaker. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. Here it is said that Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of musical instrument which is called pungi, the royal residence of that kingdom, because it had produced a shrill, unpleasant sound. Emperor Aurangzeb, who is called Shah, Emperor Aurangzeb stopped the playing of musical instrument pungi, especially in the royal residence, because it's unpleasant sound. Everybody got disturbance because nobody could bear such type of unpleasant sound which is produced by this pungi instrument. Pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemaker. So pungi now it has been addressed to a particular group of people who only use this reeded noisemaker. Reeded means you will find the meaning of the word wind instrument which have reeds like flute and a clarinet, or you can say clarionet. That is a wind instrument of wood. So that is generic name. It is classified to a group of people who only use to play this instrument. Obviously, they don't they don't produce any such type of beautiful sound from this reeded noisemaker, or you can say pungi. First of all, Aurangzeb banned this playing instrument in the royal residence of his kingdom because of its unpleasant sound. Next, it has been addressed and it has been classified to a particular group of people who use this flute, or you can say pungi, and through which only noise came out. Next, few had thought that it would one day be revived. And after that, what happened? People that one day, what is this pungi can be or could be modified, or it could be revived, or it could be changed, because such type of the instrument pungi is not a thing, or is not an instrument to be believed in such a way that it would possible for someone to change it or to modify it, or you can say there is a possibility to be revived. But a barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. But what happened when everybody thought that it was not possible for anyone to revive this instrument, which is called pungi, even it was stopped to play in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. But the Barbar Nai, uh, who was belonged to a what is professional musicians family, who had the freedom and who had the liberty, who had the access to go to the royal palace. Now he thought that if it is possible to revive or not. That's why here you will find who had access to the royal palace determined to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. Now he decided to change the this sound quality of the pungi, and also he had the access, the freedom to go to the palace, and that's why he thought that it would be possible for him to change or improve this tonal quality of the pungi instrument. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem and broader than the pungi. Here, first, that is this one. Second, what is it was named, it is classified to a generic name. Then a barber came who had access to the royal palace. He decided to improve the tonal quality. Next, he chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem. Next, you see he chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi, and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. When he played on it, soft and melodious sounds were produced. So what happened, as he had decided to revive or to improve the tonal quality of the pungi, that's why he chose a pipe with natural hollow stem that was longer in size and broader than the pungi. On the body, he made 7 holes, and after that, by closing and opening, what happened? A soft and melodious sound came out of this musical instrument. Let's go to the next paragraph. You can see the picture of pungi and the senai, how it is modified and how it was revived. One side pungi, how what is the size, and another side the senai. Now you see, he played the instrument before royalty of the palace, and everyone was impressed. The instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a new name. As the story goes, since it was first played in the Sas chamber and was played by a Nai, that is Barbar, the instrument was named the Senai. So what happened, when he had access to the royal palace, he decided to modify or to develop or improve the sound quality, the tonal quality of pungi, and that's why he chose natural hollow stems, and he made 7 holes on it. After that, when by closing and opening it, some melodious sound came out of it, and some melodious sound produced. Now you see, he played this instrument before the royalty, and everybody was impressed who were present there. And the instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a new name. So after modifying, after reviving, after improving the tonal quality, what happened? Now it has been changed. How it has been changed from pungi to senai. Now definitely, if the sound tonal quality had been changed, that's why a new name should be given to this new instrument. Actually, it was the revived form of pungi. Now, as he played this in the Sas means the emperor's palace, and it was played by a barber, that means a Nai, who, that's why the name has been given Sehnai. That means the Nai, the barber, played this instrument in the Sas palace, in the emperor's palace. Barber means one who dresses hair, who gives you haircut. Next, see, the sound of the Senai began to be considered auspicious, very favorable, and for this reason, it is still played in the temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. In the past, the Senai was part of a nobod or a traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal courts. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. So what happened? The sound of Senai began to be considered auspicious. Now, when it was played for the first time, Emperor Aurangzeb banned because it produced a still unpleasant sound. That time it was named as Pungi. After that, when the Barbar revived it and improved the tonal quality, and even he played it in front of the royal residence, then what happened? Made everybody impressed. And after that, the name has been changed from Pungi to Senai. After that, the sound of Senai began to be considered as auspicious. That means people start believing that this sound is very auspicious, very favorable for everybody. Everybody, if you play, if you hear the sound of Senai, it is favorable. It is good for everybody to hear this sound produced by Senai. For this reason, what happened? It is still played in temples. Now, in temples, the Senai is played and is an indispensable component, very integral part, very valuable, very important part of any North Indian weddings. You can see or you can watch in television or directly you would be witness of such a wedding. Then you will definitely find the Senai is played in their weddings because it is considered as auspicious for everybody, and and also it is still played in the temples. The Senai was part of the Nobod or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal courts. So auspicious, the meaning of the words are given there. This is the word auspicious, and indispensable means valuable, component means part. You can say now you can say Nobod or traditional ensemble. Written is ensemble. Auspicious means promising to bring good fortune. Another indispensable is without which a piece of work cannot be done. Ensemble means things, here instruments considered as a group. So what happened? Uh, Senai has become an important part, integral part of uh, a group of instruments. There are some important group of instruments in the royal palace. Uh, Senai also included in that group of instruments. There is a list of important or valuable instruments. Now, as Senai sound is considered to be auspicious, that's why, and it is widely spread or widely used everywhere, even in the wedding, in the temples. That's why this instrument has been included to the ensemble, or you can say traditional ensemble or the nobot. Here you will find of 9 instruments found at royal courts. So in the royal court, there are a few or there are 9 important instruments, and among them, the Senai is also one of them. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. Now, what happened from the beginning to still now? What happened? This credit goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan because he brought this instrument onto the classical stage. At first, it was rejected by everywhere, but finally, this Barbar, the Nai, he revived the tonal quality, and he found hollow stems, and he made 7 holes on it. After that, he played in front of the royalty or residents of palace, and everybody was impressed by it. And after that, the name has been changed. It was changed from Pungi to Senai. After that, we have found it was considered as auspicious. It was widely used in temples, weddings, and finally, it was included to the traditional assemble or to the Nobot. That means it was included to the list where nine instruments are found at royal courts, and this credit goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. So this article was written when Bismillah Khan was still alive. The great maestro breathed his last on 21st in 2006. And this chapter tells how the Senai was developed. It also tells how a little boy grew up to be the master of this instrument. Next, you will find as a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumrao in Bihar. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing the weight was 1.25 kilogram, a prize given by the local Maharaja. This happened 8 years ago, and the little boy has traveled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. So what happened? At that time he was 5 years old, and Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda at near a pond in the ancient state of Dumrao in Bihar, and he regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple. There was a temple, Bihariji temple, to sing Bhojpuri Chaita. He used to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, at the end of which, after singing, he could earn a laddu, which weight was 1.25 kg, as a prize given by the Maharaja, because he used to go there after playing nearby the pond. He used to go to the Biharji temple to sing Bhojpuri Chaita, and after singing, the Maharaja gave him a prize of a laddu, which weight was 1.25 kg. It was happened in 80 years ago. Now this little boy has traveled far on the high civilian. Now, after 80 years, he is in such a position that he got or he earned the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. Now you can imagine from the beginning Pungi to Bharat Ratna, this is a long journey, and you have to remember all these points. That is where he played the Dumrao in Bihar, and where he used to sing Biharji temple to sing Bhojpuri Chaita, and he got 1.25 kg weight prize that is given by the Maharajas as a gift, a laddu. That is, after 80 years, what happened? He even could earn the high civilian award, that is Bharat Ratna. Next, you see number 4 paragraph. He was born on 21st March in 1916. Bismillah Khan, or Bismillah, you can say Bismillah. Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. His grandfather, Rasul Baks Khan, Rasul Bakhsh Khan, was the Senai Nawaz of the Bhojpuri King's Court. His father, Paigambar Bakhsh, and other paternal ancestors were also great Senai players. That's why he belonged to a what family. What is in the beginning you will find that is uh, you will find he belonged to a family of professional musicians. You will find here the word. This word is he belonged to a family of a professional musicians. Now you will know about his family members. That is, he born on 21st March in 1916, and he belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. His grandfather Rasul Bakhsh Khan. He was also the Senai Nawaz. He was given a name Nawaz, Bhojpur King's Court. His father Paigambar Bakhsh and other paternal ancestors. Paigambar Bakh's grandfather and the paternal ancestors. Ancestors means of the you'll find who belong to the old times. So they belong to old times. So you can say them or you can address them as ancestors. His father Paigambar Bakhsh and other paternal ancestors were also great Senai players. So this is about all about the family members of Bismillah Khan. Next, number 5 paragraph. The young boy took to music early in life at the age of 3 when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Benares, now Varanasi. Bismillah was fascinated, he was attracted watching his uncle's practice the Senai. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Bakhsh to the Vishnu temple of Benares, where Bakhsh was employed to play the Senai. Ali Bakhsh would play the Senai and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. Slowly he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangalamaya and the banks of the Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts, where he could practice in solitude, in loneliness. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent rags, or you can say ragas, that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Senai. So here the young boy took to music early in life. So the music came to his life very early, very early, at the age of 3, when he was 3, age of 3. His mother took him to his maternal uncle's house. So when he was age of 3, his mother took him to his maternal, that means mother's side, uncle's house in Banaras. Now it is Varanasi. Bismillah Khan was impressed or attracted or fascinated by watching his uncle's practice the Senai. So in the early stage of his life, in the what is when he was in 3, that time only he was his mother what is took him to the maternal uncle's house and in Banaras, and he was attracted, he was impressed how his maternal uncles uncle's practice Senai. Next, soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Bakhsh to Vishnu temple. Soon Bismillah Khan started accompanying his uncle Ali Bakhsh. After that, he accompanied he was also included in the company of Ali Bakhsh to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where he was employed to play the Senai. So what happened? Ali Bakhsh, who played this instrument in the Vishnu temple of Banaras, he was also became one of the members who played this instrument in Banaras temple, Vishnu temple of Banaras. So here it is. Soon Bismillah Khan started accompanying his uncle Ali Bakhsh to Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Bakhsh was employed to play the Senai. Ali Bakhsh would play the Senai, and Bismillah Khan would sit captivated for hours on end. So what happened? Ali Bakhsh, who played Senai in the Vishnu temple, Bismillah Khan would sit captivated. That means he had to sit there for hours to finish this playing music. Slowly, he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. And after that, staying with Ali Bakhsh and staying in the Vishnu temple of Banaras, he also got advantages to play this instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. He also, what happened? He sit practicing throughout the whole day. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangalamaya and the banks of Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts where he could practice in solitude. So after that, 4 years when time passes, and he come to the temple of Balaji and Mangalamaya, and the banks of the Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts, and he could practice in solitude. So what happened? It has become the favorable place for everybody, or especially young apprentice, because everybody to this place to play or to practice in solitude. That means in loneliness, everybody could practice this playing Senai. So haunts, that means that it has become a favorable place for everybody. Rush to this place? The haunts, it attract everybody to go there. The flowing of waters of Ganga inspired him to improvise the invent ragas and the earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Senai. So what happened? The flowing of water, the sound of water inspired or encouraged him to improvise, improve, and to invent some new ragas. He produced or he invent new rhythms, rags, the rhythms considered beyond the range of Senai. So at that time, it was hardly possible. It was not possible to invent ragas. The flowing of water of the Ganga inspired Bismillah Khan to invent new style, new rhythms, new ragas, which were considered to be beyond the range of Senai. That means it was out of possibility to invent such ragas, which was being done by the Senai maestro Bismillah Khan. So let us know the main points of this part of lesson, the Senai of Bismillah Khan. The pungi, from the beginning to the last, the pungi is a musical instrument. It has a shrill sound. It is said that Emperor Aurangzeb had banned its playing. He had banned it because it had an unpleasant sound. Now no one hoped that the pungi would ever be heard again. But there was a barber. He belonged to a family of musicians. He decided to improve the tone of the pungi. He chose a pipe. It had a natural hollow stem. It was broader and longer than the pungi. He made 7 holes on it. When he played on it, it a very attractive sound was produced. The barber played it before the royalty. Everybody was impressed by its music. The instrument came to be called Sehnai. Sah and Nai. Nai means barber. Sah means emperor. Ustad Bismillah Khan was the greatest Sehnai player of all times. He was born on 21st March in 1916 at Dumrao in Bihar. He belonged to a family of musicians. They were professional Sehnai players. Bismillah Khan was then 5 years old. He used to play gilli danda near a pond at Dumrao. After playing, he would go to a nearby temple. It was called Bihariji Temple. He would sing there the Bhojpuri Chaita. The local Maharaja would be very pleased to hear him. He would give Bismillah Khan a big laddu as a prize. The laddu weight the weight was 1.25 kg. At a very young age, Bismillah Khan moved to Banaras. His maternal uncle Ali Bakhsh lived there. He taught Bismillah Khan how to play the Sehnai. Bismillah Khan practiced for many years. He would practice for hours in the temple of Balaji and Mangalamaya. He would also go to the banks of the Ganga. There he would practice in solitude. Solitude means loneliness. The flowing waters of Ganga filled him with great inspiration. He invented many new ragas. My dear students, many of the words are given in your book. So, the Ganga became the young apprentice of favorite haunts means it has become a place, a favorite place for young learners. That's why it is said that became the young apprentice favorite haunts where he could practice in solitude. So that place nearby the Ganga, what happened? That place has become a favorable place, a suitable place for the newcomers, new practitioners, or you can say, or young people who used to practice playing Sehnai. Okay, my dear students, we have completed